Hey, good afternoon, guys. Charlie here with
Karen Wagner, what's up?
Karen. What's happening?
Nothing.
So, we haven't quite got our podcast set up yet. We're working on some equipment. But for now, we're going to bring you guys a video cast.
There you go.
If that's
We can
even
do
a
that.
thing. I'm sure it probably is.
We can do. What are you going to surprise me with today? What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk about the dark side of personal training. The downside.
Oh, he said dark side.
Yeah.
The downside, dark side, is it the same thing?
Could be the same. Could be a little different.
I could think of one good one off the top of my head.
Like what?
Well, when I'm doing personal training,
I mean, given you've been doing it a long time, so
right. So I could tell you the number one thing I think that really aggravated me as a trainer is somebody just not showing up. No phone call, no showing up.
So you mean like a personal session? And
Yeah, just like as a youngin, you're trying to make some money and you give them the option of 24-hour notice to cancel or whatever, and they don't show up, and then they come back and say, "Can you credit me for that?" And I would be like, "Oh my God, do you say that to your hairdresser or to your nail
for real,
tech?"
I feel that. That's
So
definitely something that I've
happens
had
to me so much. And now when it happens, which it very, very, very seldom happens. Usually people let me know right away, or ASAP.
Yeah, I remember first starting out, I had this one early morning client, like a 5:30.
That's the worst.
And they were never consistent. And at the beginning of it, you're just the extreme motivator, trying to get people up and going and try to stay positive.
Yeah.
And golly, man, they'd be like, I overslept.
Yeah.
I mean, once, it's all right,
it's okay.
but
But
like,
consistently
oh
do
my
it.
God. And then, like, being young trainer, you couldn't afford to, like, just be like, all right,
It's your
I don't have
income.
room for you, just, this ain't working. You had to take what you could get and
Right.
hope that they would be there.
Right.
That's super, super
It is.
frustrating.
And
Yeah.
Nowadays, people come in wanting to be a trainer, and I never want to be negative, ever.
Right.
Because personal training is a lot of fun, and I meet a lot of people, and I've made a lot of friends over the years. I've had great clients. But those were things when I was younger I had to learn to get over.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the more it would happen, I think I was being tested.
Right.
How are you going to react? How are you going to react to this situation?
Well, how did you react?
Well, at first I would kind of just be mad, and then I'm like, I can't
Angry.
get mad, because then your client comes in the next time all happy. Hey, how you doing?
Right. Something came up.
And then you're like, okay.
It's all right.
But when it happens repetitively, it's hard. And I just remember all the years of training and having fun with people and having a full book.
Right.
And when you have a full book, I would always tell my clients, if you're going to cancel, let me know so I can put somebody else in that spot.
Yeah. That
And
makes
then
sense.
when you have 3 spots during the day, when you want to make the money because you got to pay your bills,
Yeah.
and
Got
then you
people
have,
that want that spot.
yes, and then you have that person there that you've had for a long time and you love them to death, and they keep like messing up, and you want to throw them some love, but then you don't because you want to throw them out.
True.
So,
True.
you need another spot, but yeah, I've had those times.
When you first start out, they don't tell you that. It's always
No.
like, oh, you can go in the gym and make your own hours and work when you want to. Do you like working out? Psh, that is not the case. I know people come to me all the time. They're like, oh man, I'm thinking about becoming a trainer. My first natural instinct is to be like, don't do it. You ain't ready.
Yeah,
You ain't ready for this.
You have to have that mentality.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, try hard, dude. You put in a lot of effort. You can make it, but it ain't like they make it sound. You gotta work to get any kind of name for yourself, or even just to stay in the game. You gotta work for it.
A good
It ain't no
client
joke.
base. Nobody's going to hand you clients.
No.
That's just, you can get referrals and stuff like that, but you have to be bold enough to ask for them too.
True.
Bold enough to ask for referrals, bring a friend, just all kinds of things to help build your client base up. And once you build it up, and you start making a good amount of money where you can pay your bills, and then people start making excuses in the summertime.
Yeah,
and
if
it
you
gets
aren't
real
tired by
thin.
that point.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's
another
mentally
thing.
draining too.
If you have back-to-back clients, you can't eat, you get hangry.
Yeah.
You know,
You don't even have time for yourself.
Yeah.
And then, you know, at the beginning, you have to take those clients when they want to get in because, you know, unless you're
trying.
financially there,
Right.
you know, but most trainers aren't financially there. You know, most of the time you got to work another job or two or, you know, do whatever you got to do to get. I know when Karen and I first started, like, we worked, man. We spent a lot of time in the store. You know, after the store, we worked weekends. We worked, you know, and still do.
Yeah.
You know, so we put in a lot of work to make it work.
I have another thing. Whew, it'll drive you crazy. You spend so much time trying to make all your routines for the week. And there's one thing I'll hear.
What?
We did that 2 days ago.
That's
There's
a good
only
one.
so many exercises.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
Your
one.
whole brain just drains. Like, I sat for 2 hours
Man.
and made routines for all my classes, a routine for every one of my clients. And sometimes I'll look at how my clients are, and if they both can handle the same thing, but the third one can't, I'll make 2 routines.
Right.
Sometimes I have to make one for each one of my clients.
Yeah,
It just depends
definitely.
on what's going on. And people don't understand how long that takes.
Yes.
You know, I quit teaching classes because of the choreography.
It's aggravating.
You got to think, and you got to have the music done.
You want it to
so
flow.
Yes.
And that's a big one too, man. Because you know sometimes when people say things, they really aren't even thinking. They're just thinking about what they're thinking about at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, well, why do we got to do this? And it's like, first of all, you don't know what kind of time I put into this.
Yeah.
You know,
I
even
thought
though
it
it
was a good
seems
routine.
super basic, yeah, it might not seem like nothing to you.
I was happy when
But,
I was
right.
done.
Right, and that's 6 o'clock in the morning, so you still got the rest of the day to possibly hear that again.
Yeah.
Say, dang.
I did not like my 5 a.m.
And you know what,
Getting
too,
up.
to like, now think about this. When this is happening, it's 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, right?
Right.
You're already trying to be chipper, you know, regardless if you've had an hour's sleep.
Right.
You know, you're fighting with your spouse, your kids aren't doing right. You know, you can't bring that to work, even though sometimes it does go that way, but you can't bring that to work. And then you get there and then you got this one person, oh, you know, why I gotta do this? Why I gotta do that? It's like, I'm trying just to be here, you know, for real. I mean, that's a real thing. Like, that's something that trainers really go through because you're a people person. And, you know, you can't be a negative Nancy in the personal training world. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, so you really gotta, like, sometimes you gotta give
You gotta suck it up, Buttercup.
come to Jesus moment. Yeah, and that's reasons why, you know, everybody's not cut out to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Because
this is true.
that's hard. I remember when I lost my first client, right?
Did it break your heart?
Oh God. I was
I
sick.
remember that. I remember.
I
losing
called my
first
buddy
one.
and I'm like, man, like, what did I do wrong? Like, I tried to do everything right. And he was like, man, because he was a trainer too. So it's like, man, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, man. Nah, this, you know, that ain't, why? You know, like, should I call her back and be like, you know, you can have the rest of the year for free? Like, you know, I was like, dang, I was pretty down on myself because I didn't know what I'd done.
Right.
And then, you know, as I got a little further into my career, I realized it wasn't me, it was you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you just weren't ready.
Exactly.
You know, but that was hard to take on at the time because that was my first client.
Right.
You know, I had in my head, I got the world for you. Every goal that you have, we're gonna crush it.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we got this. You know, I'm fired up. Like, this is nothing.
Wait, and after you get all of that, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like you do all of that, and then they start not showing up. And,
Like, this ain't
being there-
working.
Yeah.
Like,
why aren't I losing
yeah,
weight?
and it ain't even you. Like, they're not doing anything that they're supposed to be, or they started doing something then they quit, but they blame you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That is
Like,
the dark side of
they
being a
quit
trainer.
you. They quit you because they're not doing the right thing, and they quit you.
Yes.
You know, like, It's like, forget your family. You know, it's your fault that they don't want to eat right, that they don't want to exercise no more. They don't want to do the cardio that they're supposed to do. Why you gotta blame me and quit and take food off of my table because you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, after you've been working out for 6 months, not following the nutrition, just coming and exercising on and off, and then you lost 5 pounds and you're mad at me.
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
That's horrible, ain't it?
This is all the stuff that's happened to me over the years.
Just the dark side of
little
being
things.
a trainer. Things that really, you know, make you.
And I love when somebody comes to me and says, I want this. I got a wedding. I got an anniversary. I had one client when I first moved here. She was going to lose all her weight before her husband came back from overseas.
Okay.
She did everything. She lost all of her weight. She absolutely dropped dead gorgeous. He came home and dumped her. That was a dark side for me. Broke my heart. But that's some things that happen.
Why though? Like that was just.
He was overseas for a long time, found somebody else over there.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
well, at least you accomplished what you
I
set
did,
out
but
to
it
do.
just, and then what I was getting at was she gained it all back.
Yeah, got depressed.
Like it was done. It was, and that hurts me because, you know, you look at that client. Somebody said, "Well, she used to work out with Karen, or she works out with Karen,"
right.
And it's like my name, you know.
Right.
And that's
It's
a
like
hard
you done
thing
something
too.
wrong.
Yeah, when you have something that's you're working on, or you're working on a person, and people know you're their trainer, and they just aren't changing.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
kind of scary sometimes. It's like,
Oh, you know, that's a good point. You know, another thing that really gets under my skin is, like, I mean, I ain't a doctor, of course, but I know what I'm doing in my field.
Right.
You know, and sometimes people don't give you the proper respect because, you know, you're not a doctor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you can tell somebody, all right, this is what we need to do to get here. And they'll say, oh, well, my doctor said, you know, and it's like, well, or people won't even listen to what you got to say because they'll say, you know, my doctor told me I need to cut carbs or something. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
And it's like, okay, so.
That's not his job.
Yeah, like,
basically.
all right, so what am I? You know, like.
Yeah.
So
That's
I guess,
a hard one.
Yeah,
that's
like,
a hard one.
All right, well,
That's
do
a
what
hard
works
one.
for you. You know, is what makes you want to just be like, do what works for you. Like, go get your doctor to train you too.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to half believe, you know what I mean? Why are you here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a hard one if your
It
trainer
is.
doesn't put, or if your client doesn't put all of their trust
Right.
into you. You know, sometimes people put their trust into us, and it's like because they're there, they show up, they think that the weight's just going to come off without all the elements. And that doesn't work either. It's the same thing with you're working with somebody over here, and you're working with a trainer, and they clash.
yes.
If that doesn't work, then you know
Yeah.
it kind of drops in on us.
Right.
You know, and it's like
we always get the finger pointing, you know, if
Yes.
it's not going. And
right. You don't go back, or people don't go back to their doctor and give them the blame. We
Right.
get the blame.
Never that.
This is just stuff that's happened over the years for
Yeah.
real. It's crazy. And I've learned to deal with it all.
Well, you know, now it's like, it's all good. But,
Yeah.
you know, earlier, it'd be like, man.
Had to check yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, for real. You know, you think that you know, you're not doing anything right. You know, and it causes you to wonder, doubt yourself.
Right, right.
You know, like,
And it's crazy because, you know, I have lost clients over the years because they're done. I even had to, this was funny. I told one of my clients he didn't need me anymore. And he was
Well,
hurt, you know, but he didn't need me anymore.
Right.
He reached his goal. He'd been there for a long time, and it was kind of feeling repetitive to me.
Yeah.
And then he just kept going, and he still exercises, and he still looks good. And this, I'm talking about maybe 15 years ago, and he's
so that
still,
means you made a body build for life.
yes, you know, like he's there.
So you've done your
know?
job
Right.
as a trainer.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it feels good, you know, because I have a lot of friends like that, but he's the only one that I literally had to say, you know, I know you enjoy work, but I need that spot. Like,
Yeah,
you know, I
yeah.
needed it
Right,
for somebody
right.
new because I used to be booked all the time
Yeah, and you just kind of.
in that area where I was. But
Yeah.
it was crazy, and it was, you know, weird. You know, and I never make fun of anybody. That's one thing I always, you know, like it would break my heart to lose somebody. It would make me feel funny towards them at first. And this is all stuff I had to learn to deal with afterwards. Now it's like, oh, I get it.
Right.
I totally get it.
Yeah, it's all good now. At the beginning, it wasn't.
I had one girl come up to me after me making her routine. I know what she wanted to work with or whatever. She came up and said, "What are we working on today?" And I told her, and she said, "Well, that's not what I want to work." So my whole plan was ruined within a moment, and I didn't have time. I had a little second to think, and I changed it around, and that wasn't what she wanted to do. And she went to like the higher ups and told them I didn't have myself together, and
oh man,
you know, that I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I had been probably 20 years into training by then.
Wow.
Always had a book with me, always had, you know, prepared. And I can make a routine up off the top of my head within 5 seconds. Like if somebody tells me something, I could do it. But she said, "This is not against you." And I was like, okay.
All right,
but
well,
yeah, that was kind of like one of the times that broke my heart.
Yeah.
That's a dark side
that's
right
a
there.
big one. Yeah. That's a good one. I've had that happen. Also had like where clients come up and say if something don't change, then this just ain't gonna work for me. So, you know, the whole time I'm like, first of all, you see me once, maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
You know, you got 5 days to yourself, but you want me to change your life in 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, and it's my fault that, you know, you're not losing weight or losing body fat or whatever. It's my fault. I see you 2 days, 30 minutes each day.
Yeah.
And you got 5 days to yourself, but it's my fault.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that's, you know,
But
when that first happened, I'm like, dang, man, you know, I got to get it together. Like,
you were blaming yourself, weren't you?
You know, I'm stand up till midnight. You know, keep in mind, you know, my kids were young at that time, you know, so I'd be going home because I worked from like 5 till 9, you know, and my daughter was struggling in school. I'd help her with her homework, you know, when I got home. Then I'd wake her up in the morning before I went to work to finish what we were working on at night. And, you know, go to work. And then you have clients, you know, oh, this just, if something don't change, just saying, you know, it's my fault. This is stuff that I had to work through, the dark side of personal training, you know, the stuff that they don't teach you in school. It's all great, you know, it's all lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
No, this is stuff that
there's a
happens.
lot of things that can hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
A lot. I know there's times where I spent so much time calling all my clients every single day to make sure they were doing their stuff. And that takes time.
Yes.
That takes time.
It takes a lot.
There was no text messaging.
I don't know if I would call them.
There was no text
That's back
messaging.
in the day, huh?
Yes, Lord. I had to sit in the office and, you know, call or do it from my house if I was home and call everybody to make sure they were doing their stuff and everything. And it was a lot more work than what they were paying for.
Yeah, right.
And then when they weren't losing and they were giving me a hard time,
it's all your fault.
it hurt my feelings, you know. So, but I learned over the years that you can't chase people's dreams for them.
Yeah.
They have to really want it.
Yeah.
So that was one of my dark sides. I spent time, I was sucking the life out of myself. And I enjoy training people. I truly enjoy training people. I think that it's such an art to have a beautiful body. Even when, you know, you have so much to lose, it's an art to watch it come down.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing to see people
and see
hit their
people
goals
smile and be happy and
attitude changes,
Yes.
you know, their self-esteem. Like
and we have a lot of people like that with us.
Yeah.
You know, and I love getting people there because I've watched people struggle, like even with us, but even, you know, back in the day, the struggles are real.
Yeah, true.
They're real, and, you know, the body doesn't change, but the food has.
Right.
So there's a lot more struggles nowadays than there was back in the day.
Very true.
More.
Let me ask you a question though. Has there ever been a time that you have ever wanted to just quit and say,
Yes.
oh, that's for a new video. Tune in next time.